Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Relationship Arena. This is my space in my Facebook group and my YouTube channel where I get to talk about my favourite topic, which is all things relationship. And we talk about everything from dating to long-term relationships to sex. We're not talking about that today, but we do talk about it. I know. We talk about those dating programs on telly, but we also talk about self-relationship. Vicky is watching. We've got a number of people watching us as we're doing that. So just bear with us if you're watching this on YouTube, because we want to interact with people as much as possible whilst we do this. So yeah, I'm here with the amazing Laura Laws, and Laura is going to have this kind of open discussion with me today that I love to have. I never prep any questions. I just love to kind of go with the flow, because Laura was my amazing photographer. So lots of the photos that you see on my website and the ones that I use, they were done originally by Laura. But Laura made quite a big decision to change direction in her life. So we're going to dive into like the whys, but we're going to look at the bigger thing about this sort of self-relationship, I think, that we have with ourselves, and why we sometimes have to look into that when we make these big life changes, and how it changes our identity and how we see ourselves. Good morning, Vicky. Yeah, lovely to have you watching. And Stephanie says, what a lovely surprise. So we've surprised Stephanie, so that's lovely. So good morning to everybody. We love having lots of people watching. So if you are watching, do send some likes and some comments. We would love to have you there. So Laura, welcome to the show. I'm a talker, so you need to take over. First, tell everybody a little bit about you. Who are you?
Oh gosh, whenever I say this, I always think of this is me in a nutshell, and then I go back to the Austin Powers thing where he's in a nutshell.
Love that.
This is me in a nutshell. So I'm Laura. I'm 48 this year, so a bit of a potentially an odd time to be doing a career change, but it's actually perfect for me, and I'll explain that a bit later. I've got 4 children. I've had 3 children with my first husband. We've had an amicable divorce. I'm now married again. I have my son.
You might need to talk about that separately and see how you did that.
Yeah, really good co-parenting, you know, friends with him and his new wife, all the children all intermingle. It's all about making choices. And I think that's probably going to be the theme of what we discuss today, because I believe everything is a choice. How you feel about things, what you do with your life, the ownership you take, it's all a choice of making that decision. So I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I've got dogs, I've got a cat, I've got a house, I love a garden, I love. There's more to me than the career change. And I think I feel so happy now. I feel like I've managed to embrace all of those pockets of my life and all the things I've had to do, and not from a martyrdom point of view, but things went on hold for children.
Yes.
Because that was a choice. That was my choice to put things on hold. And it's my turn now. So yeah, that's me, really.
So I want to dive into that a bit more before we just get into the nitty gritty of what you actually did, because you're right, there is so much more to just, you know, our world is full of choices. And so what do you think is different for you now when you say it's my time and, you know, everything went on hold for children, as it often does? Tell me a bit about how you felt about that and what's different for you now.
How did I feel about it? That's a really good question. I'm a really positive person anyway. I tend to find the silver lining in whatever's going on. There's always got to be an upside to everything. And when I had children, I embraced it. And I think a lot of people that know me, like you do through BWN and everything, you know me as a photographer, but prior to that I ran a company. I was company secretary. I worked quite closely with PricewaterhouseCoopers. I had a very accountancy background. So I'd gone down the corporate route initially, had the children and just embraced it and just went, no, I've got the babies. I had 3 under 5.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I got bored, and then I was like, okay, it's not enough. It was lovely while it lasted, and now it's not enough. I need something back, but it's got to be something that's flexible. So that's where the photography came in. It kind of happened by accident, as these things do. And I think the reason it was a success is because I got that business background and, you know, knew how the money worked and everything. And yeah, I just embraced it. It worked with the children. And the plan was always, when Alfie got to second year of secondary school, which he's in now, I would go back to a grown-up role. Not saying that photography isn't serious, but for me, I wanted to put the high heels on. I wanted to dress up. You know what I was like as a photographer. It was leggings and t-shirts all the time. So
Loved it.
back in a t-shirt. But yeah, I just wanted to get back into that more formal role that I am really comfortable with.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's like a sense of we said about identity, this kind of different identity, and then wanting to express yourself, wanting to be able to show those different sides to yourself, is so important.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it. It's someone really famous. Steph will probably be screaming at me because we talked about it the other day, but the people that survive are the ones that are willing to evolve. And I think that's what it is. I've just evolved to every situation and just embraced it and enjoyed it. It's a ride we've got to enjoy, isn't it?
You are so right. And when I think about what you've said, first you said, life went on hold, but I'm not sure for you life went on hold. I think you just had a different phase, a transition of life.
Right.
And lots of times when I work with clients, both individually and together as families or couples, we look at things as transitions, instead of looking at it as difficulties or pauses or, we say, this is a transition. You're moving from one, state of evolution, as you say, to another state of evolution. And if you can go with that and you can enjoy it, because it's going to happen. It is absolutely going to happen, whether you're trying to create the most stability possible. You're going to have phases of your life where what's needed from you and what you want is going to change. And if you can roll with that and have fun with that, then your sense of self can be really nurtured and looked after. And the opposite, we see people, they can't roll with it and they just feel lost. And that's a very sad place for people to be.
It is very sad.
So you decided to go back into the grown-up world. And what was it that, because what you also did as well, really, is you were you yourself and you were independent, business owner yourself. And now I know we're not really advertising, but I know you're part of a team and you're part of an organization as such. Because that's a change as well, isn't it? Kind of being free to be completely autonomous to actually having to kind of readjust?
That was, really good question. That was probably one of the hardest things for me. So just very quickly to sum it up. So my situation is I'm still self-employed.
Yeah.
So I've joined a team, but still as my own boss, but I do have to consider others now. And I'm really fortunate that I've joined a team that sees me that way. As Steph says, she's expanding sideways rather than employing downwards, which I think is really lovely. So it was a bit of a case of having the just right porridge for me. It had to be just right to join a team. And I was really, really lucky that I met someone who morally we align, our timelines align. There's enough in there for us to be challenged, I think, and for us to have growth, because if you don't have any diversity, I think that's a bad thing. So yeah, I think I've joined a team where I've been welcomed and it's a good team. It's an established team. So I've really landed on my feet. So I'm really grateful for that. But joining a team was probably the hardest bit as well. And I've done a lot of work on myself. You know that we've worked together. You've done some coaching with me, and that was interesting. It's very insightful to sort of be analysed by other people. And I was assigned a coach on this journey as well. And he said, when you have a team, now what is it? It's the storm.
The forming, the storming, and the
norming, yeah, performing.
That's right.
And it was so interesting to see that happen with the team that I was in. And I think everyone in the group could probably agree that we had that process, and we are 100% performing now. I'm really impressed how quickly we've got to performing.
And I think that applies actually to ourselves as individuals as well. Having gone through various transitions, you get that sort of, forming, like, what does this look like? What am I trying to create for myself? Then you probably, you get periods where you're really excited. And those of you, that are project workers or business owners, you've been in that space as well. Even in relationships, the forming side is that sort of, who are you? Who am I? What do we look like? Then there's that really exciting exciting bit, where you're, and then we go into the normalization, which is often where challenges occur, because you start to think, do I really want this? Is this all that there is? Is there more? Do I, have I got the schedule right? Are you my person? Is this how I want to be? And if you can get past that, you get into that nice, performing, where you're in sync, and you're working together and you're collaborating. So I think that kind of it was designed as a leadership analysis, but I think it works across all kind of relationships, in terms of how we see that evolve. So you now, having made that transition, if we use that model, do you feel that you are now in your performing stage, having stepped, you've gone from the mum to the photographer, to the to the retraining, to the joining a more corporate organization? That's been quite a journey for you.
Yeah, it's been really good. I would say 100% with work we're performing.
Yeah.
I think because with family, I would say we're not performing yet. And the reason there's a bit of a difference, I think, is because within a business, if you're running a business well, which Steph does, you're constantly reevaluating, recontracting with the people that you're working with. And I've tried to apply that to home, but it doesn't happen quite so naturally because we're not all on the same page. So we've definitely had to recontract along the way, and talk about how things are looking, because things have come up that I wasn't expecting. So I tend to recontract mostly with my 13-year-old.
I love, if you're one of my regular followers, rules of engagement, contracts and relationships, I'm a big fan.
Yes, it's just being a grown-up, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's talking about how you feel and asking how somebody else feels. So yeah, and I think you've still got to have those priorities. Yesterday I was ridiculously busy with admin, and then school phoned, and Alfie had his first aura migraine. So he obviously needed support with that. So you just have to go, do you know what? Finance can wait. Nobody's going to die. Let's park that. Let's go into mum mode. Check he's okay, and which he is. He's absolutely fine. He's gone to school today, but he had a scary moment and he needed mum. And at the beginning of the process, I said, although you're a teenager now, you're still a baby, you're still a little boy, and you will always come first.
And this is very interesting. I've just posted somewhere else about work-life balance. So I've recently hosted a webinar for a lovely client on this concept of work-life balance, and how actually I think for many people, women and men, but I think more women. So this group is for men. So I'm not excluding you. Roles are changing, but I think for women, the work-life balance is more blended now, isn't it? So women are making decisions to change the environment they're in when they have children, because sometimes there is lack of choice and they want to be more autonomous and have more freedom. But then when we start to go back into that, we don't have this, like we used to do, traditional home and work. It all becomes a bit kind of overlapping. So is there really a work-life split there? Oh, good morning, Emma. Emma's joined us and we're getting lots of likes from everybody. You're not
nice.
Lovely. We're here, we're live. So it's lovely to have you on, Emma. So yeah, so is there a work-life balance, or is it work with, I don't know, is life work? That sounds awful, is life work, but is it all in one now?
I think so. Life is life, isn't it? And I don't want to have defined times or roles. I like to be more fluid. I feel like we're quite similar in that basis.
Yes.
And I also think there's a danger if you set yourself, I will do this at a set time, you're setting yourself up for failure. So absolutely I want to walk once a day. I want to call 3 of my clients in a day. That's fine, but don't set yourself up to fail, and just be open to, like yesterday, be open to changes coming along and be ready to prioritize, and don't beat yourself up about it. I don't have mum guilt. I never do, because I feel like I feel like I express what I'm doing. I keep people informed. I ask them how they're feeling, and I'm ready to prioritize. If one of the children needs me, they come first. But also I don't feel bad about saying I bloody love work. I love what I do. And there's this sort of like, oh, don't be saying you're too busy, don't be saying you're busy, it's a bad thing. I don't care. I'm busy and I like it, and that's okay for me. If it doesn't work for you, change something, but for me, I like it.
Oh, it's like a breath of fresh air sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're getting
breath
a
of
gold
fresh air.
star.
Yeah, you are getting a gold star here. You're getting a gold star because there's so much pressure. I talk about this a lot. There's so much pressure in the media to kind of have this life where, you shouldn't be busy. You should be, it should all be, very, calm and zen, and we should be, following our schedules, and, and actually that for some people is very pressurized. Lots of people actually function well when they're busy.
Yeah.
I had a day, I've had a little bit of a transition as I've got old clients kind of finishing, that's lovely, new clients starting. And I've had a couple of days where I've had gaps, which is great. And I'm rubbish on those days because I feel like, oh, I could get so much done. And I end up watching other hospital dramas are available, but that's my go-to
I
favourite.
used to love ER.
Right, so it's on Channel 4. And I just think, that because I'm not busy, and busy is where I like to be, until I need a break. It's really hard to then stay in my space and keep to that schedule. So Annie's just saying yes, she does. She loves being busy. She gets more done when she has more to do. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
I feel that way. But I also embrace a lazy day. I'm fine with it. If I want it, I'm embracing it. If I'm sat there feeling a bit twitchy, then that means it's not a lazy day, it's a doing day.
It's not the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so if you're watching this, I just want to, all of this is about our self-relationship. All of this is about understanding who we are, because we bring that into those relationships, So what I'm hearing from Laura here is, this constant communication with family, this constant communication with self. And that is just absolutely vital, isn't it? And actually, it's the biggest issue that comes up when clients step into the clinic space. You can guarantee within not even the first session, the initial consult, the word communication will come up. I don't think we communicate well. I don't think we share well. I don't feel I can communicate. But it means different things to different people as well, doesn't it? And you've got to find out what it means for you.
Yeah, and it's that circle of control, circle of influence, isn't it? And I can communicate till the cows come home, but if it's not coming back at me, it's not a lot I can do about it, and just roll with it.
Just roll with it. I love that. Just roll with it.
Put my cardi on. I'm getting a bit cold.
I love a cardi as well. See, this group's about everything.
Yes, it's because I'm at home. I've got a very old house, and it's I quite often say I go outside to let the heat in a bit. But
we're quite similar, aren't we? We've got a rake of children between us. We live in old houses. We like to do things on our own schedule.
We love a cardi.
Yeah. Oh, we love a cardi and a jumper. It's all good. It's all going on here. So you've now made this transition, and do you feel like you've got things where when you look back to what you wanted to gain from it, which was actually brilliantly a lot for you, you wanted to get back into that professional place, you wanted to put the heels on, you wanted to have that sense of purpose, do you feel like you've been able to put that all together?
Yeah, I think one of the big things for me, one of my fears actually, was that I'd potentially stagnated a little bit, because as much as I loved the photography, it was not stretching my brain at all. And I was slightly concerned going into a new profession. Although I had an accountancy background, I'd never done all of the training that you need to do, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I was slightly concerned that my brain might have atrophied a little bit. So it was quite nice doing the first couple of exams and going, oh, I'm actually really good at this, and then embracing it. And I'm now I'm fully qualified, everything's lovely, but I'm now going chartered, which is like the next step. So there's different patches you can wear. And I think probably that for me is a little bit of a, I feel like I need to do that for me, because I feel that at my age, I would like to show people that I'm serious. So I don't know if that's an insecurity or such, or an ego thing. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like I need to do that just to pop that chartered badge on me. And also it's good because it's an intensive learning process, and the more I learn, the more I can help my clients. So I really like the complicated cases and the things that I have to really think outside the box for. And Steph said the other day, does this happen to you all the time? Why are you getting all the weird stuff? And I just seem to attract it, which is fine. Bring it on.
This is, to me, is this lovely, this reconnection, because when we take time out from something for whatever we put our energies into, we can feel, especially when we've devoted time to being a parent, you know, more than we were before. You hear this a lot. Oh, you know, I've got mum brain, or I think my brain's gone fuzzy. But to actually then step back in and say, do you know what, it's still there, you've still got it. And
Yeah.
the enjoyment of actually firing up those neurons in a different way again. I love it when people, you know, want to kind of just do that. Why are you doing it? You should do it for yourself first and foremost. You should do this for yourself, because, you know, and I feel the same when I'm doing you know, everyone knows I'm a bit of a CPD addict, you know, I can't
Me
resist,
too.
can't resist the course, always got a course on the go.
I've
But
got a
there is,
target for October. I've nearly hit it. I'm like,
right.
brilliant.
But it's that feeling of learning, isn't it? And it's that feeling of saying, you know, you said there's more to me than the career, but there's more to you than the mum. There's more to you than the family life. We are holistic beings, and all of this helps us reconnect. So we're getting lots of lovely comments. So Vicky Richmond, lovely Vicky, she loves a dead. I mean, she's planner extraordinaire, wedding planner Vicky, but not time blocking. She can't follow an hour by hour plan. She loves having the freedom. Yeah, 100%. Oh, and Emma just says, you're amazing, Laura. Little love heart, little love heart. The love is coming in for Laura on the call today, which is lovely.
Yeah, I think you've hit on a really good note there. I think it's the sum of the parts, isn't it, is greater than the whole. And that's so true for human beings.
Yes, 100%. Well, Laura, it has been lovely. We could talk all morning, I think, about this topic. We've explored, you know, we didn't have an agenda. We kind of had a rough idea. That's how I do things. So if you have enjoyed this and you're watching on YouTube, then I will do the blatant, you know, click and subscribe. There's lots of videos there, lots of interviews about people's relationship with self, about overcoming adversity. And there's also some episodes where I give you a glimpse as to what happens behind the scenes, things that come up in the session with clients. So always look out for those. We're going to be having regular in the arenas through the Facebook Lives, and they will all be posted to YouTube. Do feel free to keep popping your comments on there. Thank you for all the interactions we've had today. Laura, you've been a very popular guest.
Well, let me go and have a look.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Kind of topics we've got coming up. So we're going to be diving into online dating. That is always a great one. We're going to be talking about the expectations now of relationships due to the influence of things like reality TVs as well. You know, what is that doing with our younger generation and their influence on and expectations on relationships? And I'm going to soon be launching my Q&As. We've had some Q&As come in, topics like how do you just connect, need to make time with each other. So thank you, everybody, and especially thank you to Laura for being with us here today in the arena.